Rishi Sunak's pay in banking, rarely less than £100,000, 20 years ago. Rishi Sunak, Britain's incoming Prime Minister, is the wealthiest person to ever occupy Downing Street, with a fortune projected to exceed King Charles. Today's video will discuss the UK's first ever Prime Minister of color, Rishi Sunak. We will talk about his career and his incredible record of rarely having to pay less than £100,000 in banking. Rishi Sunak has more wealth than the king himself, and his wife is the heir of another billionaire from India. But how will Rishi Sunak act as the next PM of the United Kingdom? How did Rishi Sunak fight all odds to become one of the wealthiest men in the UK? Rishi Sunak made history as the country's first black leader and its youngest leader in recent decades, taking office at 42. Sunak, who took over as leader of the ruling Conservative Party in the United Kingdom, formerly worked as a Goldman Sachs analyst and hedge fund manager. However, he owes a large portion of his immense fortune to his wife, Akshata Murthy. She is a tech heiress whose father, N.R. Narayana Murthy, founded the Indian IT firm Infosys. Rishi Sunak is a British politician who has been Prime Minister of the United Kingdom since 25 October 2022 and Conservative Party leader since 24 October 2022. In addition, Sunak was Chancellor of the Exchequer from 2020 to 2022 and Chief Secretary to the Treasury from 2019 to 2020. He has been a member of the Richmond constituency since 2015. Sunak was born in Southampton to Indian parents who immigrated to the UK from East Africa in the 1960s. He attended Winchester College, Oxford, where he studied philosophy, politics, and economics, and got an MBA as a Fulbright scholar. At Stanford, he met his future wife, Akshata Murthy, the daughter of Indian billionaire N.R. Narayana Murthy of Infosys. Sunak worked for Goldman Sachs after graduation, and later as a partner in the hedge fund firms, the Children's Investment Fund Management and Thulin Partners. Sunak was elected to the House of Commons in 2015 as the Member of Parliament for Richmond in North Yorkshire, succeeding William Hague. Sunak voted in favor of Brexit in the 2016 EU referendum. In the 2018 reshuffle, he was appointed Parliamentary Under-Secretary of State for Local Ministry in Theresa May's second government. He supported May's Brexit separation agreement 3 times. Then Sunak backed Boris Johnson's campaign for Conservative leader after May quit. Sunak was named Chief Secretary to the Treasury after Johnson became Prime Minister. Sunak took over as Chancellor of the Exchequer after Sajid Javid resigned in the February 2020 cabinet reshuffle. Sunak was a crucial figure in the government's financial reaction to the COVID-19 pandemic and its economic consequences as Chancellor, including the coronavirus job retention and Eat Out to Help Out initiatives. In July 2022, he resigned as Chancellor, followed by Johnson's resignation after a government crisis. In October 2014, Sunak was chosen as the Conservative candidate for Richmond, defeating Wendy Morton. William Hague, a former Conservative Party leader, Foreign Secretary, and First Secretary of State, previously represented the seat. The constituency is one of the safest Conservative seats in the country. After all, the party has held it for over a century. Sunak was the head of the Black and Minority Ethnic Research Unit at the center-right think tank Policy Exchange in the same year, where he co-wrote a report on BME communities in the UK. He was elected as the constituency's MP in the 2015 general election with a majority of 19,550 votes, making it 36.2%. He served on the Environment, Food, and Rural Affairs Select Committee from 2015 to 2017. Sunak ran in the Conservative Party leadership election to replace Johnson but was defeated by Liz Truss. However, Sunak was chosen unopposed as Conservative Party leader after Truss resigned, facing a credibility issue. On 25 October 2022, he was named Prime Minister by King Charles III, the first appointment of his reign, becoming the first British Asian and Hindu to hold that post. According to the Sunday Times Rich List, the pair is worth £730 million, $844 million together. Most of Murthy's fortune stems from her 0.93% share in Infosys, which has a market capitalization of over $75 billion. In addition, Murdy owns Catamaran Ventures UK, the British branch of her father's venture capital and private equity firm. It has investments in a portfolio of firms that includes Rupert Murdoch's eldest daughter's luxury furniture brand. The couple, who met while studying MBAs at Stanford University, is also said to own at least 4 properties totaling £18.3 million, including a California residence. According to The Guardian, before moving into Downing Street, they lived in a 5-bedroom property in Kensington, London, valued at an estimated £6.6 million. In addition, they spent weekends at a Grade I-listed retreat in Yorkshire. According to Guinness World Records, Sunak and his wife's fortune dwarfs that of the United Kingdom's former richest Prime Minister, Edward Stanley, who was elected in 1852 and had a net worth of about $440 million in today's money. It is also more than twice as much as King Charles I and his queen consort's fortune, estimated to be around £370 million. This estimate ignores the value of the more extraordinary Crown Estate, a diverse portfolio of buildings, artworks, woods, and fields worth billions of pounds. So much property that the king does not directly own, but holds for the life of the monarch's reign. Sunak's tenure as Prime Minister is regarded to be the first occasion that Downing Street inhabitants have been wealthier than Buckingham Palace occupants. Moreover, it comes at a time when millions of people in the United Kingdom struggle with a cost of living crisis, which is cast doubt on multimillionaire Sunak's ability to understand regular Britain's experiences. Indeed, the former finance minister came under fire earlier this year for his wife's non-domiciled status. It exempted her from paying tax on revenues earned outside the United Kingdom. The legal gap is anticipated to save the family £20 million in the United Kingdom. Taxes. Murdy eventually agreed to give up her status and begin paying taxes on her entire income. Rishi Sunak is undoubtedly an unusual name for anyone in the United Kingdom. He was the British Chancellor of the Exchequer before becoming Prime Minister. Akshata, who owns £690 million in Infosys shares, is registered as a non-dom in the United Kingdom and pays a £30,000 annual charge instead of regular income. Details of the controversy can be found in the British press. Still, it's worth remembering that Sunak wasn't in horrible shape before meeting someone with one of the world's most significant trust funds. Sunak's first employment after graduating from Oxford in 2001 was at Goldman Sachs during the height of the Internet boom. In their first years, Goldman Sachs analysts earned more than $80,000 or £61,000 a year, including salary and bonus, rising to around $150,000 by the time they were promoted to first-year associate 3 years later. As a result, Sunak earned less than £100,000 for the first time in his career. Sunak left Goldman to pursue a 2-year MBA at Stanford Business School, known for producing some of the world's highest-paid MBA students. The average pay for a Stanford MBA at the time he departed was $152,000. Sunak then joined the Children's Investment Fund. This London hedge fund produced an extraordinary pre-tax profit of £236 million that year, followed by £320 million in 2007 and £556 million in 2008. Sunak will not have received much of this as a junior employee. The lion's share will have gone to Christopher Home initially. However, once he was made partner in 2008, he seemed to earn a lot more and become a multimillionaire in his 20s, thanks partly to an activist campaign against ABN AMRO, which resulted in its sale to RBS, along with all the debts that subsequently rendered RBS bankrupt during the financial crisis. For all the skeptics, Sunak apparently comes from a family that believes in working very, very hard and in education as the path to success, according to Tatler. In Mayfair, he was described as a handsome and slim slick talker who specialized in going out to lunch with customers, convincing them to leave with their money. According to some, he was known as Dishy Rishi, the finance fiddy. Sunak departed TCI in 2009 and is said to have been a founding partner of hedge fund Billing Partners. However, he does not appear to have been recorded on its accounts. which showed a £400,000 loss on £200,000 in sales in 2010. However, between 2013 and 2014, Thelen produced profits of £13 million and £18 million for distribution among its numerous partners. Sunak resigned to become an MP a year later. However, Tatler claims he still thinks in Excel. Sunak emerged from relative obscurity at the start of 2020, following his appointment as Chancellor of the Exchequer. In the early stages of the COVID-19 epidemic, he was favored by British political norms. One analyst described him as having higher ratings than any politician since the heydays of Tony Blair. Sunak received the best satisfaction rating of any British Chancellor since Labour's Dennis Healey in April 1978, according to an Ipsos Mori poll conducted in September 2020. Sunak gained a cult media following, with jokes and rumors about his attractiveness spreading widely on social media and in periodicals. However, Sunak's response as Chancellor of the Exchequer was viewed as inadequate by early 2022, as the expense of living became a rising source of popular concern, and he suffered some of his lowest approval ratings. As the Sunak family's financial issues were scrutinized, the collapse continued. So please let us know what issue you'd like us to cover next.